township supervisor for how many years?
Starting my 5th year.
Okay, so what is that job like?
Well, it's definitely taking care of the community, watching over the community. And, we have a very diverse community. So I'd say Canton is probably the most diverse in Michigan because we have many cultures and many faiths in one area. And so a lot of things are happening in the outside world, a lot of things happening on the federal level. And I think our job as, supervisor and township board is to keep chaos down, keep safety, everyone feeling safe and comfortable in what's happening, and that we all work together. That's
I did notice in a recent meeting you mentioned that, saying, listen, this is the world, there's some changes in federal grant money, et cetera, but I want our people in our community to know they're important.
Yes, very much so, because everybody matters, and everybody, if you look at some of the protests that are happening, you don't see a lot of the minorities there because they're scared. I'm told that all the time through back channels. So, through back channels I talk to people and I talk to the communities and the leaders and just say, we've got your back, or public safety's watching over you, we're all watching over you.
Well, we are in a beautiful area. It's raining, but it's still beautiful. It really is. Talk to me. Let's talk about some of the great things. Let's start with that in Canton.
Okay.
What are you so proud of?
Oh, definitely. We're building, so a lot of people think of Ford Road as our downtown because you say Canton and they don't really know Canton. They say IKEA. Well, that's not all of Canton. So we're building a downtown at Cherry Hill Village, basically saying this is where we're all going to meet, for various items. And we have a lot of things going on right now. We bought a factory that Ford used to house, I think at the end of World War II, they would go there and they would work in the factory and stay there, some of the veterans. And so we have an arts factory there. We have a lot of programming there. The Summit and the park is our recreation department. It's bursting at the seams ever since COVID. As you can see, this beautiful park. People love walking. You see people walking here all the time. Not today, it's raining. But in Cherry Hill Village, they're walking around and doing things. Our Summit in the park, everyone's there exercising every single day, every single night, meeting people. So the people, the celebrations that we have, that's probably the favorite part.
Of course, soccer. I'm a soccer mom, so I've been to the Canton Cup I don't know how many times. But you're famous for that.
Yes, we are very famous. That's right. We're one of the oldest, and we're probably one of the biggest in the region.
Okay.
So that is a big, big deal for Canton Township, the big soccer tournament. It's coming up around Memorial Day.
Right. It is. Yes, it's on our calendar. Let's talk about some issues that are important. I'm going to start with flooding, only because we're here on a rainy day. There's been issues that have been solved, but there still are other issues that you need to fix. So where do things stand?
So right now, in August 2023, we had a tornado and flooding in 24 hours. Yeah. And so we had a state of emergency here. We called the federal emergency managers coming in, and they basically gave us, some funding for that, and they came to Canton to help, as well as Wayne County. And so what happens is we are an ecosystem. Canton Township has about 91 miles of tributaries. So we have natural ponds. And so, 100-year floodplains, if you were to pull down a floodplain map, you'd see how wet we are. Well, in the buildings of the 80s and 90s, some of it, moves some of that around. Also, we're seeing a lot more rain, as we can see. We're seeing a lot more rain that's happening, and so in some areas it's flooding. We took a drone last week because we know it was like, this tributary is flooded, what's going on? So our police have drones, we have drone pilots. They took a drone over one of the tributaries and they're like, oh, those beavers are at it again. They built dams.
So the beavers are building dams, and that's causing problems with the flooding.
That's part of it, yes, that's part of it.
Where was that spot?
That's down in southwest Canton. Okay. So we have beavers building dams. Like last year, we had to kind of work with Eagle and the DNR in Wayne County and move them along somewhere else. Right. Also, trees fall in. The trees fall during this winter and things like that, so that blocks things. And of course, it starts up in Northville, it goes down here, it goes through Canton Township, through Dearborn, out to the Detroit River.
Can you give us a specific location if we wanted to go shoot a quote problem area or a concern area that floods?
Sure, probably Denton and Bar area. Denton, Bar, and Getty's area. Okay. Yes, yeah.
Radioactive waste.
Yes, radioactive waste.
What's going on?
So it's interesting. Last year, I think it was Detroit Free Press, they basically saw a story in the AP News that Lewiston, New York was planning on transporting radioactive waste from Lewiston, New York, over to Belleville, Van Buren Township. We have a landfill there. And so that's how we found out. So by law, what they were doing is they're required to tell the community, but they just told the communities in Lewiston. They didn't tell us.
So this is from the Manhattan Project?
From the Manhattan
in
Project.
New York?
Yes, from World War II.
They're bringing some of that waste to Canton or through Canton?
To basically Van Buren. So it's like 3 miles south of Canton. Okay. So we're talking about contaminated groundwater, contaminated grass. And if you get on Lewiston and you read some of the stories there, there's a lot of cancers there. There's breast cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, all kinds of cancers. And the state of New York has still not said this is not part of what's here. So even though they're saying they haven't officially said that these cancers are being caused by this waste, they're saying, well, it's we don't know yet. But they're moving it here. And the issue is groundwater.
Right.
Canton, the Great Lakes, things like that go into the groundwater. It's very close to the Huron tributaries, which carries into the Detroit, rivers and out to the Great Lakes. So that's happening. So what happened is Debbie Dingell, Warren Evans, Rashida Tlaib, Eagle was there, EPA. They had a big town hall about a year ago, and there were about 500 residents there and groups there saying, we can't have this happen. This can't come here. So what we did is we, Canton Township, Van Buren Township, Romulus, and Belleville put up an injunction to stop it. So we filed a lawsuit to stop it. And what ended up happening is it stopped all of the radioactive and toxic waste from coming into Michigan from everywhere. And so a lot of people started screaming,
Right.
landowners of these landfills. So that went to a judge, and judge says, okay, everything is clear except now just this load can't come in. And so Waste Disposal has been trying to get rid of that injunction for almost a year now. And the judge keeps saying, nope, we're going to fight it. Nope, it stays as it is.
So it's not coming right now?
It's not coming right now.
But you're still fighting it because you're worried.
We are. May 19th is the court date.
Okay.
Yes, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that this stays and that our legislatures put something in place to stop things like this from happening. Representative Reggie Miller, we were in a press conference last week. She just is releasing a bill to stop it, talking about tipping fees. Michigan is a dumping ground. Michigan is one of the states that it's the cheapest, and so there's 5 states in this country that will take this kind of waste. Michigan, which is Wayne County, 2 in Texas, 1 in Idaho, 1 in Iowa. We're the cheapest, so they dump here.
Wow.
So
I
raising the tipping fees will stop that. So that's what we're pushing for.
Okay. Anything else? You talked about what's great. You did flooding. You did traffic. Oh, we didn't really do traffic. Because I will say, when people come through Canton, they say, "Oh gosh, Ford Road is jammed."
Yes.
Good
yes.
for business, irritating for drivers. So what
Yes.
can be done?
Yes, right. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It shows that people want to come
Right,
here
right.
and shop. And even during COVID, our retail district was thriving. In Wayne County, it showed a lot of them went down, but Canton went up. And everybody wants to be in Ford Road. If you have a vacancy, you have 5 people that call and say, "Hey, can I move there? Can I move there? Can I move my store there?" So that's a great thing. But there's traffic. So we're working with MDOT, the state, basically to figure out how to make no left turns out of a lot of those driveways. Because in the middle, you've got this lane. People turn left, they turn right, they merge, they wave each other on, and it's like bumper cars.
Right.
So it's really between.
So you're
Hagerty.
working to stop the left turn.
Yes.
But it's not done yet.
No,
It's a while.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
All right.
MDOT is leading that effort, and we're kind of giving them input, and they're supposed to start construction in 2028.
About
Providing like a boulevard area or no
Boulevard.
left turn areas.
Okay. 2028. Okay.